Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our last session of the academic year for Academy for Program Coordinators. I'm really excited to say that the response has been very great, and we're so grateful for all of you for being here, taking out of your busy schedules for being here. So today what we have is a needs assessment and lessons learned. The idea is to get your input in how we are going to work on the programming for the next academic year. We're going to start the sessions again in August of 2023, and we're looking for topics and speakers. So I'm hoping some of you, I know some of you have reached out to me and everything. So after today is done, we will start working on our programming, and we will be able to share with you the schedule for next year. As a reminder, all the sessions are being recorded, and we will post them on Facebook. We'll send them via email, and I'm still working on a platform that will serve better for the Academy, so that way you guys can have access to all the recordings, all the resources shared outside of Facebook. I know the hospital, some of the institutional firewalls do not allow for Facebook or Google. So that's why I'm still working on a best way to have all of this grouped. So I'm taking all of the inputs that you have given me throughout the academic year and working on that accordingly. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. What we have here is the link to our needs assessment and lessons learned. This is a poll everywhere survey. So again, the results from this survey will help us determine the best way to program our next year sessions. So you can go to, I'm going to post this in the chat, go to pollf.com/AriaBias758 to answer, or you can scan the QR code if it's easier for you to do it on your phone. So I'm going to put the link here. What we want really is your input and how we are going to program next year's sessions. In the meantime, if you want to ask any questions about or share your experiences during this past year for with the Academy, this is the space right now to do so. And again, we are recording this, so anybody who didn't make it will be hearing this afterwards. So don't be shy. This is our safe space.
Aria, on the poll, you're supposed to pick 3 choices in that first question.
There.
Doesn't let us.
I'm getting
It lets me pick 2.
Oh, I can only pick 2 as well.
okay, that's okay. I tried to put for it to give me multiple choices, but it's
I'm getting it that quote, the poll is full.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
poll is
back
full
to.
and no longer accepting responses. Dang it. Can I say that I'm hating this right now? I spent the whole week working on this.
Aria, we have a paid SurveyMonkey account. If you want to send me the questions, I can put it in that SurveyMonkey account, and we can send the survey out to those that are online right now, and to anybody else that wants to respond. Just let me know how you want to proceed.
Okay, give me 2 seconds to copy the questions into a document and send them to you. In the meantime, again, my apologies. I've been working on this the whole week. I am not kidding. Any anything you guys would like to share that you learned through this through the academic year, please feel free to do so.
Hi, Aria. This is Sharon. I have a question. If you're able to, I know you're working on the survey. I think in the last meeting, or maybe in the Facebook group, somewhere along the line, someone asked if these workshops count towards, you know how you get credits, the courses. And I was wondering if there would be some type of tally once the academic year is, like, where you gonna, okay, you know what I'm trying to say, I'm fumbling in my words.
Give me 2 seconds. I
Yeah.
came prepared for that
Okay,
question.
thank
Nicole.
you.
Nicole, I am copying you on a Google form. Sending it your way.
I was able to hit next and answer the other questions. It was just that first one that seemed like it kind of bottlenecked, but I was able to hit next and answer the rest of them.
Okay.
Aria, it's Laura. I just wanted to say that the number one thing that I've gotten from every single one of these sessions, and the folks who are on here from SSM/SLU can agree, we call these like our, you know, our monthly affirmation meetings. Like we come to these and we hear from other folks that we are not alone. It is not just us. It's not that we're not capable, we're not competent. We are just stuck within a system that isn't necessarily designed to focus on us and our programs and our needs necessarily. So hearing how other folks have succeeded in different realms is absolutely the biggest gift ever, is just hearing from other folks and being like, oh, okay, really helps reframe. Because I know I'm a negative Nancy sometimes, and I'm just like, this is the worst ever, and we're never going to get anywhere. And I come to these and I hear from other folks, and it's just, it kind of like lightens the load a little to hear that engagement. And these presentations have been amazing. Like the collection of speakers that we have had are awesome. So what you're doing is great. And I really hope that we can keep going down this route.
Yeah, my response on the survey was, what's been the best part? There's been a lot of good parts, pushed me out of my box, speaking a little bit, but also just the sense of community, that while I might have a coordinator or two in the institution I'm in, that we kind of function the same and we work the same, but seeing a national community that's like, oh, it's not just you, and you're not just having a bad day. Sometimes we have bad weeks or periods. Right now I'm struggling with everything. Onboarding, offboarding, behavior issues. But I think the sense of community is what's, I've been doing this for 20 something years, and we never had that. And I couldn't explain to anyone what I did that made sense to anybody in like the administrative assistant role. And that's where I started way back when, but anything like that. And they're like, and Aria and I work together. So one of the things, and my sister's sitting at more, and my sister's like my best friend in the world, but we were at a concert 2 weeks ago. And we went and saw, I can't even remember her name right now, but anyway, we're at a concert and one of my residents is in a car wreck. Like it's after 6 o'clock. I'm the first one she calls. She's never been in a car wreck. So I step out of the concert, right? And I deal with that, and I get hooked up back up with her mentor, and I call the chief resident, and let's get together. And because these people are on their own in a town far away, even though she's been with me for 3 years. And then, so that happened. And then fast forward to a Friday afternoon, I was trying to take off and spend some time with my sister because we've been working so much, and I have a resident who's in crisis. And I keep stepping out for that. And, it's just like, and I've been told I don't have good boundaries. And I get that. I understand. But also someone's in crisis and you become their person. And, and I've met residents in other programs, and they're like, and they know how I work and I function in ARIA, kind of we're similar. And they're like, I never even saw my coordinator. It was all virtual. And I'm like, how does that work? How do you not have a face of one-on-one? And I get it, because we did 2020 virtual, right? I onboarded, offboarded a whole class. and I missed graduation because I had COVID. So everybody's different, but we still make it happen. And I think that's super important to know as well.
I'm just amazed at how quickly this academy took off. I mean, it grew to over 200 members just like overnight. And right now we have 173 on the Zoom. And I commend Aurea. I mean, this was just definitely a need because it just mushroomed overnight. And I was just astounded. And I think it's awesome that we continue to have such a huge attendance every month. So well done, Aurea and Kimberly, for putting this together. And I work with them too, and I'm a little biased, but anyway, so there you go.
Good morning, everybody. This is my first time on here. The email to the invite was forwarded to me. And I was just wondering, how do I get on your guys' list to get the request to join every month?
Yeah, so once I get the forward, I start to add to my email distribution list, which has been being edited constantly because some people have moved on to other positions, others have arrived. So sometimes you guys receive duplicate emails or invites, and I apologize for that, but it's me getting everybody, every time I receive an email address, I add it to the email distribution list to make sure that everybody's there.
Oh,
So-
perfect. Yeah, this is amazing. So is every month a different topic, or is it all topics? Anybody can speak about anything.
So every month is a different topic. We have certain months like this month that we do the needs assessment and the lessons learned, because that way that gives us feedback on how we're doing, on what we need to work on for next year. But the topics come from all of you.
Okay.
Every time we had imposter syndrome earlier this year. We have working in teams. We have branding yourself. We even had a Q&A session for anybody who wanted to have a question answered.
That's
So
amazing. Yeah.
so this is a safe space for all of you. We are here sharing. We all cry, we all laugh, we all get mad and frustrated. And it's hard to have that safe space where everybody can say, yes, I've been in your position.
Okay. This is really nice because I'm new to the hospital. November, I started in internal medicine. So this is going to be a good place for me to come and ask my questions.
Yes.
Love it. All right, ladies.
I'm putting the email addresses on the chat. Kimberly, sorry, you forgot my second last name in the email.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
So we do again, and we have our Facebook group. I am still working on a single source place where we can have all the recordings. I will send out all the links to the recordings after the session for those who have missed any of them. We have them on YouTube and a YouTube channel specifically for the Academy. Feel free to share them.
Okay. And the Facebook, do you put it on the email so I can subscribe? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And almost every day I get, and sometimes it's not because I ignore them. It's because sometimes I don't enter Facebook, especially after 7:30 or 8 at night where I'm putting my kiddo to sleep. But I get the response, the request, and I almost immediately click accept to all of them.
This is great. Thank you.
And welcome to the family.
Yeah, thank you.
I absolutely love that so many people are saying, and I saw some folks in the chat box that I sent these meetings to, that's how they joined. It's like we're communicating one-on-one, word of mouth, just trying to get more people in here. I think that in and of itself is a testament to the power of this group and this system that you're working. So this is fantastic.
My coworker sent me the link and I added it to my calendar to pop up and remind me to get on. So yeah, this is great.
I am not kidding you when I say that when I sent the calendar invite for last week, it was the email list was over 550 people. 550 people, and and there's more. There's more out there. So it's our job to keep working it together and making sure that everybody has what they need.
Well, and I'm not sure how many were at ACGME. I recognize some of your faces and names, but I mean, that group at ACGME this year was my first year to go in person. And I've been to AACOM and AFMA and multiple things over the years, but it was the largest group of coordinators I've ever seen gathered in one place. And it was so good, so good. Laura, did you speak? I heard you speak, right? Yeah, I thought that was you. Okay.
Yeah, Kimberly, you told me you went to Laura's presentation and told me
Loved it.
amazing.
Yes, like, and at first she was like, I'm not a professional, and she was like, she blew it out of the park. So people I've seen that spoke for 20 years. So,
Laura,
and I wasn't bored. I was not bored. Thank you, Laura.
Aria, I seen you present at ACGME, which was a great presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you didn't notice, I was scared. A word that I cannot say here right now. Anybody else who wants to share stuff?
So I was talking to my program director yesterday, and I guess on Monday they had their program directors meeting or whatever. And she said that they had kind of split them up into groups. It was about program director burnout. And she said that they had no way to communicate with other program directors. They had nothing like what we have here. And she was just amazed at all of the program directors that were going through the same things that she was going through. And she's been a program director for years. They had no like mentoring thing, and all the program directors were so scared to ask other program directors and all this. And I was like, you guys need an academy. I was like, we've got a great group of people. Like, I can jump on Facebook anytime I want and ask all these people all these different things. And that just really sucks for you guys.
AFMRD has a good web serve. Trying to see for physicians, for program directors. No, and that's family medicine. That's Association for Family Medicine Residency Directors. I've gone through 2 new PDs in the last since 2018. And I'm on my second new one. AFMRD, if you're a family medicine or maybe anything, but AFMRD is huge for program directors. And also one of the things that we don't think about. And so I left in 2016, came back in 2018, and my dean said, we have a new program director. I need you to teach him how to do his job. How many of you heard that? I was like, okay, like I can do it. And I have another new program director and I'm kind of teaching him, but it's like, that's, those are all things you have to think about now when I'm applying for jobs and when I'm looking to advance my career or show people what I've done. Well, I've trained program directors to be program directors. So.
I think that she's an experienced program director. I mean, she's been with us for years. And she's got, in our field, we're thoracic surgery. So she has people in our field that, she's talked to before, but I think that she was more amazed at the upcoming program directors that didn't have anyone to talk to. And then the burnout from the experienced ones that they just don't talk about.
No, I agree. I know that my interim program director right now, he's thinking about applying to be the program director permanently. But, he started, I guess, let's say, last May, right? And so now he's going through a recruiting cycle, and then we're trying to get people settled in, and we're dealing with some other behavior things. And what he gets paid versus the work he's putting out is huge. And it's just like what we deal with, but it's always a consideration. And so I think he'll be great. I just don't know if he wants to do this permanently. And that's part of our challenge is no one wants to do it permanently. And everybody has ideas, but nobody wants to jump in and take ownership. So.
And I'll say, so I am also about to onboard my second new PD since I took this role 2.5 years ago. I didn't tell him, I just signed him up for the ACGME Program Director Wellbeing session that they had this week. I think it was on Tuesday. And he texted me and he's like, what is this? I was like, you need to go. Just do it. Just go and do it. And because we had didactic lectures that day, and I was like, there's another faculty member, you don't need to be there, it's fine. So he went to that, and I checked in with him after because I was like, okay, feedback, how did it go? What was it? And he was like, honestly, it was kind of depressing because, and this was put on by ACGME, but he was like, not much in the way of strategies on how to manage your well-being or your burnout or any of that kind of stuff. It was really just a lot of program directors that were coming together and being like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And I was like, well, I was telling him about this group. I was like, well, we do that too, but then we problem solve because that's what we do. So if you need help trying to problem solve, then that's the next step. It starts as a venting session, but you have to be able to take the next step. And I think that's where he got a little frustrated. He was hoping for some like tips, tricks, something, because he's very nervous to take this over. He's been our APD for the last 2 years, but stepping into a PD role and kind of picking up the ball where we are is nerve-wracking to him, given all of his clinical responsibilities that he already has. So I think we all agree that it's not just us. Our PDs definitely need some cohesiveness. We don't even have our PDs in our own institution don't ever get together, and even in our own department, because I'm in internal medicine, so we've got like multiple subdivisions. We don't even get them together here. So it's kind of like, okay, if we don't do it at the local level, it's not gonna get together maybe at the larger level either. So I told him that maybe that was something we could look at starting, is you guys have a meeting, get together, figure out how you do this, because nobody's reinventing the wheel around here.
So Laura, actually I'm doing right now, Kimberly's gonna do it in the fall. We're doing the Stanford MD Wellbeing Director course. And they're giving lots of resources, because I went to that session, the program director session, on Tuesday, because it was open to everybody. That was the beautiful thing. I didn't stay for the small groups, but I did hear the panel talk, and it's like, yes, and everybody's facing the same things. So if you are interested at some point in us helping you, well, at least I'm putting myself there. I don't know about Kimberly. I don't want to offer her.
Oh, you can, it's fine. I'm good. You speak.
Because honestly, this course, they're giving so much resources on what you can do for your programs that we will be able to help you at some point with all of that. So
I have another question, and I'll put it in the chat too, but so there were some really good book suggestions just made. Would anybody be interested in like a book club? Like say we pick a book, and then I see Laura, and then and Sarah pick a book, and then, and not pick a book and read it in a month, right? We have too much on our plates, but pick a month and maybe go over in a 3-month period and do like a discussion group or something on Facebook. We can do a Zoom. I'm all for that. I love having you in my house. It doesn't look dirty because it's all faded out, or in my office at the school. But so if you would like to do that, and I'll put it in the chat, or we can put it in the survey that Nicole's doing. If y'all want to do that, we'd have to buy our own books. We don't have a budget to send books out or whatever. But we wouldn't pick anything. We would have people give us their feedback on what books they're interested in, and then I would pick like the top 3 or something, and we could do that over a 9-month period, like do a book over a 3-month period. And I know that sounds drawn out, but I know in my own life with kids, and then I have grandkids now and aging parents, and I do like to read for enjoyment. So I think we could get some good thoughts into that over that time period. So I see some enthusiasm. So I'll Nicole, if you can hear me, will you ask about the interest in that? I think I have enough already, but I just want to make sure. So. I like smiles. I like to see your
Absolutely,
faces.
baby.
Because I hate to be on camera, but for this, I get on camera. So
Yes, I will add that.
thank you, Nicole. You're awesome.
Nicole is a rock star.
So Nicole, Aria, and I started this, and Aria's been the leader for the most part. She's amazing, but I'm just so excited that it's grown to this, and I want to just keep it going. And yeah, there's lots of ideas coming out of it that I think are amazing. If you also, I want to say, if you have an idea about speaking, this is so I've been doing this since 1999. I've been a coordinator, but I've only been speaking for the last 2 years, and like consistently over in the last 2 years. And it really validates me as a person. It validates my work. It makes me realize that, oh, I can share and mentor. I've started mentoring through AFMA, and then also just locally when new coordinators come up in our area and they need help. So all of those things, as we look for satisfaction in our work, because for a long time, I kind of lost that. I didn't know. I just was trying to get the next thing done, And it's really given me a lot of job satisfaction. So, and sometimes you're like, I can't do one more thing. But when you get into it and you like it and you're sharing things with people and you can see aha moments with them, it really does make a difference. And I'm by no way, shape, or form any kind of professional speaker. I mean, I've taught Sunday school to 3-year-olds. And that was about it.
Kimberly, I wish I had one of you when I started as coordinator.
Well, thank you. And that's one of the reasons. So when I started in 99, and some of you heard my story, I was an administrative assistant. One of the bosses, I've literally been on the job like a week. I was at TCOM. Somebody came in my office and said, I have a female program director for internal medicine. She's difficult. No one wants to work with her. I'm going to give it to you. And I was like 28 years old. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And so I did it. She wasn't difficult. She just said exactly what she needed. You did it. I mean, it was great. And I learned so much and then just kept going. Right. And so, but there was no one to ask anything. And thankfully, or not, I don't know if it's thankfully or not, I learned before the internet came along. And so I learned how to open, close programs, unfortunately, closed one pre-internet, and it was valuable. And now the internet, there's so many more resources. But yeah, back then, I don't even know if there was another one in our institution. I don't know if there was another coordinator.
Yeah.
And I sure wasn't called a coordinator. I was just an administrative assistant until time moved on and things changed. So.
Yeah, when I came on, it was December 2019. I had no idea what a coordinator entailed. I was in the department for 7 years prior, and our coordinator left suddenly, and they're like, guess what? We're going to have you do it. And there was no formal training. It was sink or swim. The PD I had was wonderful. However, she transitioned to chair 3 months into my acquiring the position.
Wow.
So I got a brand new PD that did not know anything. I as well didn't know anything. So I used a lot of networking groups, and because our GMA office had no formal training, it was kind of like sink or swim. And I felt like I was all by myself, many meltdowns, but the network groups held me together. And I think even to this day, that's kind of the biggest thing is I wish there was a formal training for our position.
I know we've got all the calendars now and the to-do list and the yearly checklist, which are huge. I will tell you that I spent a short stint at UT Southwestern. I made some great friends there. Shout out to you guys if there's anybody here. UT Southwestern had an amazing framework of support for coordinators, which when I came back to TCOM and HCA, I was very glad to kind of share that and work through that. They had an amazing support network. Of course, they're huge. UT Southwestern is huge in Dallas. So, but and then the people I met there, I've stayed friends and acquaintances with, some at ACGME. So, and I think also one of the things that I was always asked to do in my career as I had different programs too, was to, and I didn't do it. So let me just say that I'm better at it now, but it was to write down like a to-do list and like a manual.
Yep.
it's tough when you're in the middle of it, but that would be, I mean, I think we have more than now, you know, Aria and I put out what's the word, Aria? Help me. What did we publish a few years ago? A planner, and month by month, you know, we had that out there and it was nice. And I know there are some more of those tools like that out there, and every specialty has different things they need to get done. But overall, I think a training course with some kind of certificate. I mean, I know we have TAGME, and I feel like TAGME's after you've been in the job 5 years, right? So at least, so, you know, you're not wrong. A training would be amazing. Tarina, anything online or anything, you know, maybe
Yeah.
that's something we put together,
I
put our
mean,
heads together and get out there.
even if they came up with just kind of a backbone, I mean, I know every specialty is different, but just to put the basics together, because right as I came on, of course, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And everything shut down. And so I was shut out from everything. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And it drove me insane. And now I look back at it and I'm like, wow, I'm pretty proud of myself, because I just reached out to different groups that were on Facebook, and I learned a lot, and just kind of put my own manual together for Durham of things we had to accomplish. And then going to the ACGME conferences was a big help my first year, going to one of those, because I had no idea what I was walking into when I took the job. But I love my job. I love my residents. My PD has learned along the way. She's wonderful. My associate PD, he as well was brand new. So I was dealing with, you know, everything brand new. So we all kind of learned together.
And if there's anybody new on, and I hope there is, and when I've interviewed and done things like this, what you're doing today sometimes doesn't make sense for 12 months. And then you do the same thing again in 12 months and you're like, oh, that's why I did this. I mean, I can't tell you how many with different specialties I've moved to right now in family medicine, but I've had derm, I've had pathology, I've had palliative care, I've had geriatrics, I've had internal medicine. You know, and everybody has different due dates, but when I would do something and then I'd be like, this doesn't make any sense, but you know, I was told to do it, so I do it. And then you turn around and you go to, you know, 12 months and I'm like, oh, okay, now this just met up. And that's what I tell people when they get hired and interview, because they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And I said, you won't. 12 months. For 12 months, you're going to be asking yourself, what am I doing? And then that second year, things kind of start to make sense.
So I just finished my first 12 months as of February 1st. And so what I did for that first year is every task that I did, I created a reoccurring task in Outlook for 1 year from that date, so that I kind of had just a reminder of, oh crap, I have to do that now, don't I? And so that's been really helpful for me as these things are popping up, reminding me of what I did last year.
I have a lot of oh crap moments. That's not usually the word I use, but it's similar.
Tarina, I also started in 2019, and Kimberly was on the interview committee interviewing me for the job.
I'm sorry, Linda. No.
No, I love you. And she tried to talk me out of it. Actually, she said it's horrible. It's so difficult. It'll
Didn't
drive
say
you
horrible.
crazy. You did. And I said, oh, pish posh, how hard can it be? Well, I was wrong and she was right. So, but yes, but I've been here more than 3 years and it's the best job I've ever had. And I still have no clue as to what in the heck I'm doing. So just hang in there, everybody. And if you can't get through it alone, reach out to somebody, one of us or anybody. And because you are not alone, darlings.
Yep.
Nope.
It'll all fall into place, Linda. It just takes a little bit. I saw someone post that, you know, their mentor told them you've got to at least do it, you know, 2 years. For me to feel comfortable, I think at about the 3-year mark is when I started understanding the reason and the rhyme behind everything I was doing, and actually understanding, rather than someone saying, this has to be done now, let's get this done, we have this to do, you have to update that. And so I think by my 3rd year, I actually was okay. And I've actually decided to do the TAGME cert. So we'll see.
Yeah, you are correct. And of course I was exaggerating. I do know what I'm doing, but there's something new all the time.
Of course.
And yeah, no, I really do love it. But you do have to give it time. So for
Mhm.
people that are brand new, it's overwhelming, but you just have to give it some time and keep working at it. And pretty soon it'll start to dawn on you, like, oh, that's what that means.
Yep.
So, yep. And so just hang in there, everyone.
It all falls into place eventually. And like they said, I wouldn't trade my job, even though it's very repetitive. It's different because of your incoming residents and fellows, and every year gives you something new. And I'm always learning something new because they'll always ask me something different. I'm like, oh, let me get back to you. I'm not sure. So, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
One
Sure.
of the things that I think, I'm sorry, Aria, were you speaking?
Yeah, Sharon and Cheryl have their hands up. Sorry.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Who do you want to go first?
I am fully understanding about the 3-year cycle. I started in May of 2020, not having done graduate medical education per se. And the first year was just chaos and learn by the seat of your pants and fix the errors behind you, because most of your errors can be fixed behind you, and don't worry too much about it. So then I thought, okay, the second year is going to be the year I'm going to understand what's going to happen. But we were still COVID, and you still couldn't do like travel, and you still couldn't do this and this and this. So I was convinced this was our year this is my year to really get it. This is my 3rd year. It's going to make sense. And our hospital system closed our hospital. So next year is going to be my 4th year, and it's going to be my full first normal year. And so I would also say having this group to come to after we learned in September where they were closing us in November. So we've fully transitioned our program. It's been full on chaos. It's been different every day. It's, learning a whole new place. And so I appreciate everybody here, just even giving tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff, because I didn't have this my first couple of years. So if I survive the whole move and everything, and next year everybody wants to hear how you survive a hospital closure, I will definitely give you a talk about that.
Me next. So I know everyone was talking about the year and things, and a planner. I've seen it coming through in the chat. I don't know if you guys can see behind me that board on the wall. It's a dry erase board of all the cyclical events that we have in what we do, like the recurring events. And I'm at a new hospital as of August. So of course, there are things that are inherent to this hospital. And so as I'm learning certain things, because you don't get any training, and things just come, as it comes, I stick it on that board so that I know for the next academic year, I know when to expect what. So I don't know if this might be helpful for some, but it works for me. That was it.
That is awesome. I do that kind of also on my Outlook. I put year, remind me in a year from now. So that's absolutely awesome.
And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm changing clothes out. So if you hear my dryer, please forgive me. Aria and I are going to work on the updated planners. We will start selling those. And it's going to be for a minimal amount, but we're trying to get it to the point where it will be cost effective for us to print them and then sell them and mail them. I don't know if any one of my ladies are in the office where they have their planner next to them and can maybe put it up on the screen, but it is a very, very good resource. And I've had coordinators to contact me and say, hey, so we give our new coordinators, a planner when they first get hired on. And I've had coordinators come back and say, hey, can I get another one? We don't have any currently in stock to give or sell, but that is something that Aria and I need to put back on the forefront of our minds and make sure that we can get these tools that are really needed in the coordinator world, so we can, you know, have these resources for you guys.
I love the chaos coordinator thing Laura just posted. That's awesome.
I made those last year for our coordinator appreciation day. That's, I think it's the second or third something in August. And I made those in Canva because that was absolutely 100% what we are. And whenever anybody asks me what my job is, and I'm like, fellowship, I help train doctors who might save your life one day. And they were like, that doesn't really answer the question. I just give them that. And they're like, oh, okay, so that's a little more. I was like, yeah, it's a lot, because there's no one easy definition for everything that we do, because sometimes I'll be talking to somebody and they're like, what do you mean you're planning an event? What are you doing? What conference? I thought those were the things you had every afternoon. And I was like, no, those are didactic lectures, colloquially conferences. This is a big conference that we're actually putting on. And so, yeah, I made those and they always crack me up, but I've seen so many different chaos coordinator things that I'm like, I'm really debating over getting something on my wall behind me. I have lots of signs in my office that say things like broken crayons still color, you know, stuff like that. Cause I need that positivity and a little bit of humor, maybe a little sass works well.
So somebody in the chat asked about Tag Me, and I wanted to show this. And Kimberly is the one who taught me this. So we took the resources from that are used to study for Tag Me and put them in a pretty binder.
Mhm.
And if you see, these were all my notes for when I studied for Tag Me in 2019. And honestly, it's crucified to the extent of this is everything, because Tag Me is mostly it's where to find the answers, and you can have this and you can create something like this for when you're taking Tag Me and have it with you the day of the exam.
Yeah.
And that's what I actually used, that same binder when I recertified after she did her 2019. She gave me that binder. I added a few things, made some notes, and I used it again. So go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Sharon.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I was not raising my hand. I'm using my phone. But if you want to see my binder, we can do let's all show our binders if you want.
Oh, show your binder. Show it.
Please.
Okay. It's right here.
Yes, I like the prettiness of it. Oh.
Tabbed up and marked up and pages hanging out. And during the exam, the rings opened up and papers went everywhere.
Oh no.
Oh,
As I'm taking the exam, trying really hard not to freak out.
I have a question. How long does it really take, you know, the study part and everything? Is it safe to say study really hard for a good 4 months, 5 months before you take the test? Or what's your answer for that?
let me be honest with you. I am not the best test taker. This was when I finally certified, was the second time I was taking it, and it was the new format where it was multiple choice. I remember I registered as soon as they opened. I think it was March or April. And as soon as I got registered, that I was that I knew what I needed to read up on, I started putting everything together, and every little bit I could in the office, or at that point I was even with my husband, like we were looking houses, and every time we had to wait for a realtor to arrive, I just took out the tablet or took out the binder and read a bit. and mark stuff because again, even though it's open book, it's knowing where to find stuff, and it's good for you
That's
to
right.
start familiarizing yourself with everything and looking where the answers are, because some of the things like ECFMG that I don't work with too much, never basically, you have to know where to find the information for ACFMG, the NRMP match agreement and everything. So it took me that bit until September when I took the exam, September 2019. And I remember for the few days before I took the exam, I went to the library, just closed it myself in the library in my neighborhood, and spent 2 to 3 hours per day going ahead, making sure I marked everything, because it's mostly, what I did was mostly mark. Like, okay, in the case they ask about this, where can I find it? And put the tabs and write the tabs on, and making sure I know where to find the answers. Because yes, they give you access to the resources in the computer when you're taking the exam. But for me, at least, it was easier to have it on paper. I couldn't, start looking at one screen, and especially in one screen computer, stop the exam there and minimize it, look at the resources. No, I had to have it in front of me. So that way I was like, okay, where can I find it? Okay. And obviously taking your time, and, if there were some questions, I was like, okay, yeah, I know the answer, but just to make sure this is where it's at. And all of that stuff.
I'll tell you, I did the same thing. So I've taken twice. I certified initially with essay questions, so no multiple choice. When I first certified, it was essay questions, and it was, and I wasn't prepared for that part, but I did fine. I will tell you, when I passed, I was like, oh, I was surprised. And then because we probably all doubt ourselves way too much, just putting that out there. And then when I recertified this last time, and it was all multiple choice, and I did have the electronic option, I did use the paper. And what I did, Aria also has some flashcards, and I borrowed those flashcards. And so I will tell you, I did not study 4 to 5 months ahead of time. I made sure I knew what was in the binder. I made sure I had it organized that I could find it. I made notes on some things, ECFMGs. I was not familiar with that either. And I took these flashcards, and for maybe a month, I would take a day a month, and I would block it out during the day. I had permission from my boss to block it out during the day. We don't all have that ability. And I would go sit in a coffee shop and go through those, pull those flashcards out, and then find them in the binder. And there was a few things, because when you're in the middle of the test time, I just couldn't, sometimes my brain wouldn't click, like, okay, I know where this is, but I'm just not seeing it. So then I would go to the electronic stuff. That was my backup to search phrases, and then I would find things. And take all your time. So that's figure out what works best for you. I would panic if I would try to study for too long a period of time. So I'd be afraid I forgot something. So like, I picked a month, half days that month, made sure I knew the materials, did those flashcards, because you really know more than you think you do, I promise you. And then those flashcards were huge for me. And I think Tag Me has some different, if you search Tag Me on the internet, there's some different things like that. But it's all up to how you work. But I will tell you, I worried way more than I should have about it. Because if you've been in the position, you know where to find things.
Okay, I had Lori who raised her hand before. Lori, you still here? Okay, I don't think so. Okay, Carolyn.
Hey, I've got a couple of things. For Tag Me, can you use like the hard copy and the electronic version? Can you use them both? Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, unless they changed it, they give you access to the resources electronically within the exam. They have it there with the software.
Oh, wow, that's even better. And then planners, if anybody's ever heard of the ARC system, that's pretty amazing system too. You can actually like remove the pages. So what I do is remove the month from the year before and go through that month to see what I did, and then put the new month in for that year. So that's something that I had on my list. And then my last thing, do we have like a list anywhere, like a roster for this group? With like people's specialties and like their email addresses. So if we had like specialty specific questions or something where we could just email somebody in the group, do we have anything like that?
No, but I will create one and share it in Facebook for everybody to fill out. Okay, Shandala, did I say it right?
You're close. It's Chandala.
Chandala, okay, thank you.
This is kind of circling back regarding Tag Me. I took it twice. I remember the way that Kimberly referred to, that was back in the mid 2000s. I think it was like 2015 or so. I tried to take it. Oh, it was a nightmare. That's when they had the two parts. The first part was the question and answer. If you don't finish that well, and they never tell you a score, then you have to take the second part, right? I did not pass the first part. If I told you what situation I was in when I was taking that test, you would have been like, what the heck were you thinking? Because I started a whole new job from one. I think I was in med peds, and I started a new job in otolaryngology, and it was like my first week, and I was scheduled to take this exam, and I had to work late. So I stayed after hours, but yet people were still in the building. So they kept asking me questions, and yet I'm in the middle of trying to take a test. That was like the weirdest experience, the dumbest experience I've ever had. So of course I did not pass, but they did tell me I came super close, but they would never tell me why, how close. And so this time I took it, it was a year ago, and it was all question, electronic, the new system that they're doing now. And it was like night and day. Completely easier. You can actually concentrate. And I have to say, I'm more of a computer person. I'm not a paper person. I don't like flipping through pages. If there's anybody out there in that way, I like the word search. So because it was all about phrases, right? And you want it to be exactly the answer they need. Like if you have to fill in the blank, if the word the is in there, it's wrong. You have to make sure that word the is not in there. And so I did a lot of word search. So I would just put the word that I want, and it would take me in every section of the entire document, no matter where it was, and I can read the phrase for the answer that they're looking for. Because the intent of it is not for you to just know everything. The intent is, can you find it? That's the whole point of the exam. Like if somebody asks you a question, would you know what resources to find to be able to get the response that they're looking for? And so if you know how to go through electronic systems, this is a good system because it teaches you how to go through those systems. That's just kind of my little tip from people who are computer people more than they are paper people. That's it.
They've greatly improved the test. Just put it out there. Chandala, you're exactly spot on. It was so stressful the first time with that 2 parts. Yes.
Jessica, I don't know the answer. If anybody has the answer, somebody's asking if anybody has gone to the ACGME requesting the change to be from coordinator to manager.
That was a big discussion at ACGME. I think it's going to be brought up. Your institution is going to have to buy into that, though. The ACGME can recommend it. But yeah, no, that was a big discussion at ACGME.
Kimberly, did they happen to mention, because it's what's the wording in like all the documents, right? It's what their wording is. And so 2 different institutions I've already been in since I've been in this position, when it comes up about because you definitely have different levels of everyone doing the job, right?
Right.
But where you are actually doing it as an administrator, they're able to go back to what is in the ACGME wording, and it does mention coordinator. So it really does start with them. Did they mention anything about that?
I'll let Aria talk to it. The committee she's on talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm reading at comments right now saying that the advisory group is working on this topic. And I've read, there was somebody in one of the Facebook groups who posted a survey, the Name the change.org survey,
Yes.
asking that for, and, you know, and you're right, it starts at the ACGME, but it's also followed by how our institutions label
Right.
the position too. So then usually they follow the ACGME requirements.
Exactly.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
So I do remember something about it's based on how many residents you have for how many FTEs you have. Is that the way I saw that?
ACGME has a table. I can share it online after this, where per specialty they have how much FTE, recommended FTE, they have for coordinators per specialty. For me, there should be a full-time coordinator in every program. Not,
So how many residents do you have?
I don't have none right now. Unfortunately, I don't have that. My first two start in July.
But Aria, can I make an announcement for you? Can I tell everybody?
Ah, yes, okay.
Okay. So Aria is the new TCOM institutional coordinator. She's actually the first official institutional coordinator TCOM has ever had. Yes. So yay, she's very modest and she needs to be celebrated. She's our first institutional coordinator and I'm super excited for that.
It takes a village, honestly, Kimberly, because you're part of that village.
I'm with you, but I'm cheerleading for you today. So yeah, I'm so excited for her. And I've been with TCOM 20 something years and yeah, it's a big deal. So.
It is.
But yeah, we wear so many hats that, you know, being in, you know, Kimberly has been here more than I have. I've been here only 15, like in GME 15 years. It takes a lot out of us a lot of the time. You know, and it's up to us sometimes to just say, please, I need help. We are stubborn. Program coordinators tend to be stubborn. I include myself in there because we tend to not ask for help.
So we just did, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, so Margot, to answer your question, the institutional coordinator oversees GME and the program coordinator specifically for the certain programs.
I was going to say, we just did for our department, we did an Enneagram study. And of course I've done MBTI and all those things, but which I think would be, it's very insightful for me as a coordinator to see my intrinsic traits. And then of course that can change. And MBTI I did 15 years ago is very different to now. I've gone from very extroverted to very introverted. And I will tell you, I attribute a lot to that to my job. If you have the opportunity to do an Enneagram for yourself, and there's some free tests out there, anything, and just kind of delve into that, it's been huge for me too. And then also when we do it as a team, and you already kind of know who the people that are like you are, and it helps you identify with people who are totally opposite, which that's been a good team building exercise for our department, for chief resident conference, things like that. Because some of the people we have do the MBTI, they'll take the person that's on this end of the spectrum to that end of the spectrum MBTI, and then you go get yourselves together and you find the strengths you can pull from each other. It's been good.
Okay, we have to close up. We're at top of the hour. I just posted a link. Nosama is actually hosting right now at 12 Central, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, advancing your career in GME. If you can attend, if not, at least register so you can access to the recording after. I just posted the link. we will see you, everybody, in August, and thank you so much for taking your time and be with us. All right?
Yes, I greatly appreciate it as well. It's hard for even me to stop sometimes and go, okay, I'm going to Academy. So,
All right. Have a good one.
bye, guys. Aria, hang out.